Welcome to One Tired Teacher, episode 216. 7 things I learned while being a teacher. So last week, I did a Teacher Truth episode about 7 things I wish that someone had told me before I was a teacher. And I'm going to tell you, it was a rough one. It was hard and it was upsetting. And sometimes that's what you're going to hear on this podcast, because I promised myself when I started this podcast in 2018, when I first resigned, I promised that I would use my voice to share teacher truths. I would share the trials and I would share the treasures of teaching, and I would allow others to share their trials and treasures, and that sometimes it wasn't going to be all sunshine and roses, and we were going to have positive, put on a positive face and a positive spin on things. And I know that's upsetting and hard sometimes. And, that's what we do as teachers, put on a brave face, put on a happy face. But I don't think we have to do that all the time. And I think it's important for us to be real and honest with our feelings and to allow ourselves to feel all the feelings, the bad feelings and the good feelings. So after doing that episode, while doing that episode, I thought I'm going to do the opposite. All right, I'm sharing the hard things, the things that I wish that I knew before I was a teacher. Now I'm going to share the things that I learned while I was a teacher, and what those positive things are about teaching. So I hope you stick around.
Welcome to One Tired Teacher. And even though she may need a nap, this teacher is ready to wake up and speak her truth about the trials and treasures of teaching. Here she is, wide awake. Wait, she's not asleep right now, is she? She is awake, right? Okay. From Trina Deboree Teaching and Learning, your host, Trina Deboree.
Hey, so before we get started, I want to let you know that this week's episode is being sponsored by my Would You Rather Back to School packet. So this is a fun getting started. I think it's 10, has 10 would you rather prompts in it. That's perfect for back to school. It gets your kids started. It gets conversations going, or you can use it as a writing prompt. You can do it as when they first come in, it's projected on the board or on the smart TV, and you're got the question up there, and kids are responding with writing or words. Not writing or words. Yes, writing or words, or pictures, or maybe they're creating something with Play-Doh, like they're making their response out of Play-Doh or something like that. And that is a way to start the day and then defend your would you rather. Which one would you rather? So I think it can be really fun. I am giving this away for free, actually, and you can grab it at trinadebereeteachingandlearning.com / would you rather BTS, back to school. I think it's would you rather BTS. Let me make 100% positive that that's what it is, because I don't want to lead you down the wrong. I will have a link to it in the show notes, but I would like to tell you too, would you rather BTS? I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And that is what it is. So, okay. So that's exactly what it is. So you can grab that at trinadebereeteachingandlearning.com / would you rather BTS. All right. So let's get on with the show. So as I mentioned last time, I spoke about things that I wish we knew before we became teachers. And now we're going to talk about things that we learned while being a teacher. And this is like maybe the bright side or the positive side. So one of the things that I learned quite quickly was how to budget my time and materials. You don't have an endless supply of time or materials in the classroom. And sometimes you're starting the classroom with a lot of things. You're starting in the classroom without a lot of things is what I'm saying. Like you don't have your classroom library, and you don't have decorations, and you don't have all the materials that you need. And so you've got to figure out how to do this, especially on a budget and within your budget, so that it's not taking away from your family. It's not taking away from your living, your life and all those kinds of things. So you really learn this fast in a classroom because there's always so much to buy. You learn how to be thrifty at Goodwill. You learn how to look for dollar deals at the Dollar Tree and Target hot spots or whatever those are called. You learn things like that. So I think that that's an important thing that I learned as a teacher. Another thing is how much children love to play. And any time that we can create lessons that incorporate a type of play, whether it's, game-like or it's performing or enacting or reenacting. Anytime we can do things that feel like play, we want to do it. That's how kids learn. Play is so vital for children. And if we are in places where our recesses are being taken away and we're, in schools that are like frowning upon play, it's important for us to bring it back in whatever way we can. And I want to remind you, and I've said it before, they can't watch you 24 hours a day. It's impossible. They can say they're going to, they can tell you they're going to pop in, and they will, but they can't watch you every moment of the day. So just keep that in mind. And that's another thing I learned as a teacher. Another one is how important a teacher is in the classroom. I know that there's a big push for, guides on the side and all those kinds of terms that we're using. And obviously we want kids to have some more directed learning and we want them to take charge and ownership of their learning. But we're not there just to give them information. In fact, we shouldn't be giving them information. There's so many other ways that they can get information now. It doesn't need necessarily a teacher. But what we are needed for is the mentorship, the relationship building, the connections that we have to kids and how important and vital that is for children. I had a friend respond to this prompt by saying that they learned that kids, that teachers have the potential to make the difference in the lives of kids. And that is so true. But she also said that kids are resilient. Oh, and I was so triggered by that because I felt like I hate when people say that. I hate when they say that kids are resilient. I think that people take that as a free pass to dump things on kids, and they're not as resilient as we think. It actually is harming them in a way that they have to later deal with in like years and years of therapy. So I think that can be really, really rough. So I just want people to remember that, maybe they seem resilient in the moment and they definitely pick themselves up and brush themselves off. And maybe sometimes they look like they're, not suffering, but a lot of times they are, and we don't really realize it. So that is like a triggering thing for me, but all right. Anyway, another thing that I learned was how to transform the world of a child, the classroom of a child, like what that can feel like and look like for kids and how it can excite them and motivate them to want to come to school and to be there and to create a safe environment for others. I also learned how to love so many different kinds of people with so many different kinds of ideas and backgrounds and color of skin and beliefs and situations and so many different kinds of people to love. I also learned how to open my mind to other ways of doing things, that my way isn't the only way. There's plenty of other effective ways of doing things and teaching things and living. And I think that was a really important lesson. And I also learned how to work with a team. I work with others because it was an expectation. And I don't love forced collaboration. That has always kind of irritated me. I can be really introverted and I need time to process and think. And you can't always do that in a collaborative setting. So I didn't love like team planning all the time. In fact, I didn't really like it at all. I hated it, to be honest with you. But I definitely learned how to accept other people's feedback and opinions and all those kinds of things. And I think that is important. I think that is an important lesson. My one friend said that she learned how to play the game and make it appear like she was following the rules when she wasn't. And I definitely learned that game as well. It's a game that we unfortunately have to play. Also, I learned how to unapologetically put myself and my family first and set boundaries, from which I learned that when you enforce those boundaries, people learn to respect them. And I learned that there are good people who will support you and give you the fuel to keep going. There are good people. There are good teachers. There are good administrators. There are good educators out in the world. We have to find them. We have to find one another. I learned to fight for others who don't have a voice. There's many times that I spoke up for teachers and kids, and where I even did a keynote presentation to save a teacher's job because she was so valuable to me and to the team. And I thought the administrator was making a mistake, and he kept her, and she went on to teach and ended up retiring from her school years and years later. And she was amazing. And I learned how to support and celebrate divergent thinkers, which I think is one of the best skills to have learned. So many good things can come of being a teacher as well. And I wanted to make sure that I had the opportunity to share those with you and not just the things that were hard and difficult. You may want to contribute to this list. And if you do, I would love to hear from you. You can always reach me on Instagram, Trina_Deboree, or my email, tdeboree@trinadeboree.teachingandlearning.com. And I would love to hear from you. Until next time, sweet dreams and sleep tight.